Hey guys, it took a little while, but I finally got COD Mobile working on PC with a PlayStation 4 controller. Now this does work with an Xbox One controller or anything like that. It will work with pretty much any controller. As you can see, the aim down sight works, the sprint works, the reload works, switching weapons works, pressing the options button works. Pretty much everything works more or less, apart from a few things with a controller. As I go ahead and melee this guy in the back and take out two bots there. But today I just thought I would show you guys a video how to play Call of Duty Mobile with a controller, because as you guys know, when the global release of Call of Duty Mobile happened, they actually disabled using a controller on mobile phones. However, you can actually still use a controller on Game Loop, which is a PC emulator that lets you play Call of Duty Mobile with a keyboard and mouse. However, you can use a controller too. As I was saying, this works with PS4, Xbox One, or any other controllers such as a gamepad or anything of that sort. Where's this guy? Now, I've set up the controls so that everything pretty much works. As you can see, I'm going to go call in some streaks here. Let's call in the Hunter Killer Drone, and we'll also call in the UAV as well. But as you can see, the aim down sight seems to work. Now, I need to turn down my sensitivity because it's kind of hard to aim as it currently is. But yeah, everything seems to work pretty much fine. I've just set up a quick game with bots just so I can quickly record this footage for you guys. Okay, so in order to get Call of Duty Mobile working with a controller on PC, well, first of all, you need to plug your PlayStation 4, your Xbox One, or whatever controller you are using into your computer with a USB cable. So once you have done that, what you need to do is you need to have Game Loop downloaded and installed with Call of Duty Mobile downloaded and installed on it too, and up and running. Now, if you don't know how to do this, I already did a quick video which will be linked in this video's description. But as soon as you have gotten Call of Duty Mobile up and running and you've plugged in your controller, all you want to do is start up Call of Duty Mobile on Game Loop. So I'm just starting it up now. I will jump back to you guys in a second once the game has loaded. Okay, so here we are. I have Call of Duty Mobile up and running on PC. Everything is working with a mouse and keyboard. However, as I was saying, I want to take it to that next level and I want to go ahead and use a controller. Now, this is just because I play on PlayStation 4 normally. I'm not used to mouse and keyboard, and I know a lot of you guys will prefer using a controller to using a mouse and keyboard, or alternatively, just playing on a mobile phone, because obviously the controls are a bit weird on mobile phones, even though it is quite well optimized with Call of Duty Mobile. But anyways, once you've got it up and running, you want to click this button on the right where you can see the little keyboard, and this is the key mapping. Now, by default, it will be set to keyboard, and these are all the keyboard settings that your keyboard will manually be set to, so Call of Duty Mobile works. However, if you click on gamepad, this is where you'll be able to set up your controller settings. Now, by default, it will be set to multiplayer, but bear in mind, when you set up your controls, you need to do separate settings for multiplayer and also battle royale, because obviously you'll need different settings for both modes since they both have different features and stuff like that. So what you need to do is you need to copy the layouts that you can see on screen. But first things first, by default, both of these buttons will actually not be available. So the first thing you want to do is you want to click direction left joystick right here, and you need to move it about here, as you can see where I have put it on screen. And then you want to select the right joystick and you want to go ahead and move that to around here. So once you have done that, you will then need to set up all of the other buttons that you can see that I have set up on screen. Okay, so now for all of the other buttons, this is fairly simple to do, and obviously you will have to put these buttons in different places depending on your preferability, because obviously the controls that I want to have won't be the same as the controls you want to have. However, this is fairly simple to set up, but I would recommend using the controls that I have selected. Now, obviously things are going to be a bit different if you are using an Xbox controller, but it should be fairly self-explanatory. So first things first, I'm just going to click X on every single one of these controls that I've already set up. So I'm going to get rid of all of these so I can set it up from scratch and show you guys where to actually put each of the controls. So let me get rid of every single one of these controls apart from the two that I've already shown you guys how to set up. Okay, so it's very simple. All you need to do is you need to just click on your screen with your mouse. As soon as you click on your screen, you want to click on a button on your controller. So for example, I'm going to click the up D-pad. So then I will just move the up button right over here. Now I will click once again on the screen, and this time I'm going to click the right D-pad button. So now I'm just going to move that over here. Next up, I'm going to click the down D-pad button on my controller. So I'm going to just click that there, and I'm going to move that down here. Okay, so the next button I'm going to set up is my aim down sight button. So all you want to do is once again click on screen with your mouse and then click the button on your controller that you want your aim down sight button to be assigned to. So I want L1 on my PS4 controller. However, you just click whatever button you want. I know a lot of people prefer using L2 as the aim down sight button on PS4, but once again I just prefer using L1. But where you want the aim down sight button to be is actually right over here, so put the aim down sight button here. The next button that I'm going to set up is my shoot button. So once again I'm just going to click on screen, then click my shoot button, which in this case is R1 on my PS4 controller. Once again, you can set it to R2 if you want to go ahead and do so. It's perfectly up to you, and if you are using an Xbox controller, just click whatever button is necessary for you. But you want to go ahead and drag your shoot button over to this position right here. The next button that I'm going to set up is my options button. So I'm just going to click on screen and click options. You just want to drag that right up here at the top of the screen. The next button I want to show you guys how to set up is actually the reload button. So this is square on PS4. However, once again, if you are using another controller, or if you want it to be a different button on PS4, then just click whatever button you want to be the reload button. So drag your reload button to this position on screen. The next button I actually want to set up is actually my switch weapons button. So triangle on PS4. So once again, just click on screen and then click triangle on your controller, or click whatever button you want to be the button that switches weapons. Once again, it's perfectly up to you. And then you need to drag that button right down here. The next button I want to set up is my jump button. So I'm going to click on screen once again, and then in this case I'm going to click X because that is the button I want to use to jump on PS4. However, once again, if you use an Xbox controller or you want that button to be a different button, just click whatever button you want. You want to drag your jump button over to this position on screen. The next button I actually want to set up is the crouch button. So in this case, I'm once again going to click on screen with my mouse, and as soon as I have done that, I'm going to click the circle button on PS4. However, once again, click whatever button you want to assign your crouch to on your PS4 or Xbox or whatever controller you are using. You then want to drag your crouch button all the way to this position on screen. The next button I want to set up is my melee. So the melee in this case, I'm just going to click with my mouse, and then I'm going to click R3 with my controller. So that is the right joystick button, and I'm just going to drag that right over here. So once again, just put whatever button you want your melee button to be right in this position over here. The next button that I'm going to set up is going to be the button you are going to use to actually pick up weapons off of the ground. So just click on screen and then click the button you want to assign that to. Now in my case, I'm going to use the left button on the D-pad. However, you can use a different button if you want to go ahead and do so, but that was just a button I had free on my controller. Since I actually used the other D-pad buttons to call in my kill streaks, that's what the up, right and down buttons are assigned to. So simply drag that down here. The next button I want to assign is the button that I want to throw a grenade with. So once again, just click on screen and then click the button you want to assign that to, and now in my case that is R2, so I'm just going to click that, and there you go. Once again, you can set it to a different button if you want to go ahead and do so. I just like playing flipped. And you want to move the button you want to chuck a grenade with down to this position right here. Next up, I'm just going to press the L2 button, and I'm actually going to move that right over here. So that seems to be the perfect position for that. So I've pretty much used all of the buttons now. The last button I have is actually the share button on PS4. So I'm just going to click on screen and then click the share button. And I just put the share button over here, so that will allow you to control your voice input and stuff like that. And next up, I'm going to assign my left joystick button. So I'm going to click on screen and then click my left joystick, and I'm going to move that right over here. Now this is actually the button you are going to use to be able to sprint within the game. However, there is a crucial crucial thing that you're going to need to change to be able to sprint, because I have found when you actually set it up in this position that it just won't work properly. So what you're going to want to now do, that is all of your buttons set up, is you want to go ahead and click save. As soon as you have clicked save, there are going to be some settings you need to change to allow this to work. First things first, you need to set your mode to advanced. So click advanced over here, and you want to click custom for your shooting mode. Next up, you need to go into basic, and over here you want to have all of this pretty much as I have on screen. So first things first, you need to have fast throw grenade on. So this is just so you can throw a grenade straight away and you won't have to click 2 buttons. The next thing that I want to actually show you is you want to click on fixed joystick. Okay, so the next thing that you want to change is for the aim down sight, I just have tap and hold to ADS. You don't want to have any of these other options selected, and you also want display left fire button to be on. The next thing that you want is you want to have your always sprint sensitivity raised. So you want to have this sensitivity raised to about 80, and the reason for this is because when using a controller, it's a lot less sensitive than using a phone. So make sure you have the sensitivity for this all the way up. You can even put it higher than that if you want. It will mean that whenever you try to sprint, it will pretty much just sprint almost straight away when using your left thumbstick. So the next thing you want to go ahead and change is your sensitivity, because obviously your controller is going to be a lot more sensitive than using a phone. So you just need to tweak your sensitivity to what best fits you. This is what I have. However, it's probably a bit too high, to be honest, so I'm going to turn down the sensitivity a little bit. However, once again, this is just something that is going to be different for every single person, but you will need to tweak your sensitivity after setting up your controller, because your sensitivity is going to be really high from the get-go, so just mess around with your sensitivity. Now, once again, this is just the controls for multiplayer. However, I've shown you guys how to set up the controls for multiplayer, and if you want to set them up for Battle Royale, once again, just click that button on the right there, go to Gamepad, and then click on Battle Royale, and once again, it's the exact same method. You'll just want to select the directional keys and put them in the position that I showed you guys before, somewhere around there, and then once again, just go ahead and select every single button, and then you'll just be able to set where you want every single button to be. So now that I've shown you guys how to set it up for multiplayer, it should be fairly self-explanatory for you guys to set up within Battle Royale, because it's the exact same method. All you want to do is just start up a game of bots, and then all of your controls will show up on screen, and then you just want to drag each control to where you want it to be assigned to. And also bear in mind, when you set up your Battle Royale controls, you will need to set different settings for that over here once again. But yeah, that's pretty much how you set it up. It's very simple and self-explanatory. Hopefully this video has been useful. Now please bear in mind, this is pretty much a 100% working tutorial, but obviously this is using a phone emulator, so some things are a bit dodgy. I've noticed when using game loop that it can be a bit laggy or clunky at times when using a controller, but for the most part it's pretty simple to use. However, obviously some of the controls will not work with a controller, so when you are within the main menu, for example, or if you're pressing certain buttons within the settings or something like that, you are still going to have to use a mouse and keyboard. But you can switch between mouse and keyboard at any time, so if there are any buttons that don't work with your controller, you can just go ahead and use your mouse and keyboard. It's very simple to do. If you have any questions, make sure to leave them in the comment section down below. But anyways, thank you for watching the video. Make sure to subscribe if you're not here for the latest and greatest Call of Duty Mobile news and information. So anyways, thank you for watching, and bye.